Alright, this video is for pupils who might have missed out the lessons on repeated identity. We have done a series of questions and we have finished this worksheet. But for pupils who missed the lessons because you were not well, right? Hopefully this video will be able to help you. Alright, there are two guided examples. I'll be going through these two examples slowly with you, alright? So if you find that it's very difficult for you to catch up, you can probably just pause the video and you might want to review the video again. But if you still have questions that you or any doubts that you're not very sure of, remember to come and look for me in school. Alright, so I'm going to go to guided example number 1. John sold twice as many mangoes as Bob. So we have already started using unitary method. So first I will need to underline this twice. And I know that John, when I'm comparing John and Bob, I would know that John has twice. So if I have 1 unit for Bob, John will have 2 units. Alright, so I'm just going to zoom in here so that you can see clearly. So now I have another person who is joining in the story. So I have Donald sold thrice as many mangoes as John. So I'm going to circle Donald. And I'm going to circle John. Now, as you can see, John's name is repeated. Alright, but before I put 2 units for John, I want you to look carefully. So I know Donald has thrice as many units as John. Now, if I put Donald to be 3 units, and I put John to be 1 unit, because I'm only comparing Donald and John now. Alright, but if I compare like that, I will have realized that John and the John in the first sentence have different units. Alright, so what I need to do to make John to be the same, because basically what John sold is the same. Alright, so what I need to do for John, I will need to times 2 for the second sentence. I'll make it to 2 units, and for Donald I will also need to times 2, because if Donald had thrice, if John has 2 units, Donald will have actually 6 units. So now what I need to do here is to have all these units drawn out in the model. So what I did suggest for some of the pupils is that because John's name is repeated twice, so it will be good to put John in the middle, because John is being compared to Bob and Donald. So my John, I will put 2 units, and I will have Bob. Bob will have 1 unit. Donald, he will have 6 units, so I will have 6 units. I'm going to draw 6 boxes to represent 6 units. Alright, so my total, the third sentence, they say that they sold 720 mangoes altogether. So at the side, I'm going to put 720 mangoes. So how many mangoes did Donald sell? Definitely you need to put a question mark at the bottom to represent what you need to find for Donald. So when we go to unitary method, you look at the total number of boxes, because we have the value here, which is 720. So when I count the number of boxes, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I would have 9 units. It will be equals to 720. So I will have 1 unit. 720 divided by 9. I'll get 80. So Donald would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Donald has 6 units. So I would have 80 times 6. I'll get 480. Okay, I've already mentioned to the class that we are trying to stop the writing of statements. So you can just write your answer here. The answer will be Donald had 480 mangoes. Alright, so if you need to copy this down, you probably hit the pause button. I'm going to go to example number 2, guided example 2. Guided example 2. There were total. Now, just now the question above, the total was given at the end, towards the end. But in this time, the total was given to be the first sentence. But you just read on first. There were a total of 540 liters of water in 3 tanks. So you can see that these 2 sentences, they do have comparison method. So let's try to see. Now over here, I want you to take note that over here, the ones that I'm circling, tank A appears twice. Alright, so just take note of that. So I'm going to read the second one, which is tank B contained thrice as much water as tank A. So I'm going to put here 1 unit. If tank A has 1 unit, tank B would have 3 units. I'm going to erase this bracket here so that it doesn't appear confusing. So this will be 3 units for tank B. Alright, so now when I'm comparing tank A and tank B, tank A will be 1 unit, tank B will be 3 units. Okay, now I'm going to go to this part here by tank A is 1 unit. Alright, and then, but I know that I cannot have 1 unit because it says that tank A contain twice. Oh, give me a while, skip. Tank A contain twice. As compared to tank C. So when I'm doing tank A and tank C is 1 unit, tank A is 2 units. But do you notice that tank A, there is a conflict here? What is different? Because in the previous sentence it says that tank A is 1 unit, and after that tank A at the next sentence is 2 units. So what is going to happen is I'm going to make them the same because basically you're talking about the same tank. So I'm going to times 2. If I times 2 here, I will need to times 2 for tank B. So tank B, I will have 3 units times 2. I'll get 6 units. Okay, now again, we are asking for how much more water we are comparing between tank B and tank C. So what happens is we will have to draw the models for tank A, B, and C, but I'm going to put tank A in the middle because you must remember that earlier on tank A is repeated twice, so it'll be easier to draw tank A over here, 2 units. I'm going to draw tank B, 6 units. 6 units. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I would have tank C, which is 1 unit. So my total is started with 540 liters. So now I want you to count the number of boxes we have. We represent the units. I will have 6 plus 3, you will get 9 units. So 9 units, you will get a total of 540. But the question is asking how much more water is there in tank B than tank C. You compare tank B and tank C over here, the difference is this side. So you will need to find 1 unit first because unitary method, basically you will need to go back to 1 unit. You divide by 9, you will get 60. Alright, so I'm good checking the box, ticking it, to show you the difference between B and C. Between B and C, the difference is 5 units. So I'm going to put here 5 units. I will have 60 times 5. I'll get 300. So again, when the question asks, we are not going to write statement anymore. We are just going to put here answer. How much more water is there in tank B than tank C? So my answer will be 300. But do not forget the units. It will be in liters. If you forget the units, it will be minus half a mark. Okay, so you are ready. I'm going to go to the next question. The next question, I have again 3 people, Faiz, Gerald, and Haziq. So they gave you the total. So these 2 sentences tells you the comparison, but definitely somebody is repeated. That is why this whole worksheet is called repeated identity. Okay, now I'm going to erase this. Second sentence, Faiz had twice as many cards as Gerald. So over here, I'm going to put Gerald 1 unit. I'm going to put Faiz 2 units. Okay, after that, the next sentence, Haziq has 3 times as many cards as Gerald. So this is 1 unit. Haziq has 3 units. Now, as you can see that even though Gerald is repeated twice, right, like his name is appeared 2 times, but the amount of units did not change. So I can safely just draw the number of units for Gerald, which is 1 unit. I'm going to put him in the middle. I'm going to put Faiz on for 2 units. I'm going to put Haziq for 3 units. Okay, again, I want you to take note, the total is given to you at the beginning, the first sentence, 354. So what happens, you will have to count the total number of units. So you would have 6 units equals to 354. So I need to find 1 unit, 354 divided by 6. Okay, if you are unable to do this with mental sums, always go to the working that you should be doing. All right, 54, you will get 59, right? So you get 59. Okay, now question mark will be over here at Faiz because the question wants you to find how many cards did Faiz has. So Faiz, I'm going to put a tick here. Faiz will have 2 units. So I would get my 59 times 2. Okay, you get 108. If you cannot do it mentally, please remember to do your working at the side. Alright, so you get 118, 118. So I'm going to erase this. Alright, so you get the answer 118. So of course, I think the statement they would require, the statement at the bottom they've already given you. You just need to put in 118. Alright, but I'm just going to put here over here. The answer is 118. Alright, let's go to the next one. Christy has twice as many marbles as Gerald. Gerald has twice as many marbles as Harold. So I'm going to circle Gerald. Now, Gerald's names appear twice. Repeated identity, and there's always comparison. So I'm going to go to Christy. Christy has twice as many marbles as Gerald. So if I started Gerald with 1 unit, Christy would have 2 units. Alright, so I'm going to go to Gerald. Over here, you can see that Gerald over here doesn't have, when it says twice, Harold is supposed to have 1 unit, right? Gerald will have 2 units. But because you see that Gerald cannot be 1 unit here and 2 units here. So what happens is you will need to times 2 to give Gerald 2 units. And because you times 2 here, you will need to times 2 here, you get 4 units. Why is it you do not times 2 for Gerald? Because there was no change in the second sentence. Alright, so now I'm going to draw Gerald. Gerald will have 2 units. I would have Christy. Christy would have 4 units. So I will try to put Gerald in the middle, and I'm going to draw Harold. Harold for 1 unit. Okay, the question gives you the total again. 1,155. Okay, count the total number of units. You would have 7 units equals to 1,155. So you need to find 1 unit. So you will divide by 7. You can do your working by the side. 1155. You divide by 7. 745. 642. So this is how I do my working. Sometimes I actually read out to make it more sense to me, to have more sense. So I'll get 165. Okay, I'll go to my question. It asks how many marbles did Gerald have? Now, as you can see, the question mark is very difficult to put the question mark at the bottom or at the top. You can actually put it by the side. No issues with that because you want to indicate what you want to find. So Gerald will have 2 units. You can put a tick here. 2 units. 165 times 2. Again, if mental sums is not an option, like you find that it's very difficult, you just do your working. No need to rush, alright, to work things out, but in the end you get the wrong answer. So the answer is 330. Let's see whether the statement is given. Okay, the statement is given at the bottom, but you can just put your answer 330 here. Okay, let's go to the next one. I'm not sure how many questions are there. Okay, I'm just gonna scroll down and see how many more. 3, 4, just 2 more questions. Hang in there, alright? There are 2 more questions and then you can take a break. Okay, this is a star question. Let's see what's the difference between this and the questions above. Shop A sold twice as much apples as shop B. Shop B sold thrice as many apples as shop C. So now shop A sold 1,455 more apples than shop C. So they're asking for shop B. Looks very confusing at first. Now I want you to, some of you might be thinking, there's so many things being repeated. There's C being repeated, there's A being repeated, there's B being repeated, and you might be a little bit confused. But actually no, you should be focusing on these 2 sentences because these 2 sentences have the multiple models that you actually need. But the third sentence over here, they give you the exact value, so you should not be confused. You just don't read the third sentence first. You focus on the first 2 sentences, and the first 2 sentences, the one that is repeated is shop B. Alright, so let's start with the first sentence. Shop A sold twice, so I'm going to put 1 unit here. Shop A will be 2 units. Okay, let's go to shop C and shop B. Shop B sold thrice, so over here shop C will be 1 unit, shop B will be 3 units. So first thing you need to notice will be shop B. Alright, it's not the same amount of units, so you will have times 3 here. You get 3 units to make it the same. You will have to times 3 here to get 6 units to make the same. Okay, once you have identified that shop B is the same, which is 3 units and 3 units, you're going to start to draw. So you will have B with 3 units. You would have A with 6 units, 5, 6, and then you would have C with 1 unit. Please make sure to label. Okay, now every time we always draw by the side to indicate the total number, but for this question is very different. They are saying that there's the 1455 belongs to shop A and C, the difference between shop A and C. Now the difference between shop A and C will be over here, and I'm going to put a tick. This 1455 refers to the number of boxes being checked, being ticked. Alright, it refers to the difference. Alright, and the question wants you to find B. So you are going to start with 5 units equals to 1455. You find 1 unit. 1455 divided by 5. So 1455 divided by 5. You will get 2, 10, 45. You bring it down. 1 set, 0. So you know that 1 unit you get 291, and you're going to find the number of apples for shop B. So shop B there are 3 units, so you would have 3 units equals to 291 times 3. So again, it's very late now, so I cannot do mental sums. I'm just going to work it out. 9, 18, 27, 3, 6, 6, 7, 8. You get 873. So how many apples? You will get 873 for shop B. You can transfer it to the, oh, there's no statement here, but it's okay. If you want to write it as the answer like this, it's fine. But if you want to write out the whole statement like shop B sold 873 apples, by all means, alright? So if you need to pause and to write this down, alright, you can hit the pause button. I'm going to go to the last question. Yay! Alright, Sheldon, Leonard and Raj have 3,283 altogether. So this question gives you the total. Okay, what is very different about this and the question before is that you can see that they combine this all together. They combine the sentences into one long sentence. It gets a little bit confusing, but I'm going to break it down for you. The first sentence is Sheldon has 4 times as much money as Leonard. Alright. There is and twice as much money as Raj. So it actually means that Sheldon has 4 times as much money as Leonard, and Sheldon has twice as much money as Raj. Alright, so the question is interpreted like this, that there are 2 sentences of 2 comparison sentences in one long sentence. They actually combined it all together, but technically wise is the same concept. Alright, so I'm going to put Leonard here. I'm going to put an arrow out. Leonard here is 1 unit. Sheldon here is 4 units because it's 4 times. Alright, so I'm going to go to Raj. Raj over here is 1 unit. Sheldon will have 2 units. But you do notice that Sheldon, there's 4 units in front, and then Sheldon has 2 units here. But you must know that it refers to the same number of units for Sheldon. So you need to times 2 here to get 4 units. When you times 2 here, you must times 2 for Raj to get 2 units. Alright, so now we know that Sheldon is repeated twice. I'm going to draw Sheldon's units over here. So I'm going to draw here 4 units. And I'm going to draw Leonard, which is 1 unit, followed by Raj will be 2 units. So the total will be 3,283. So let's count the total number of units. I will have 4 plus 3. I'll get 7 units equals to 3,283. Some of you might be asking, why am I not putting the dollar sign? Now at this point, when I'm doing the working, it is okay not to put the dollar sign. If you the dollar sign, if you put it at the end, it will be okay. They will not minus half a mark for units, because they will still it's okay not to have units when you are doing your working, as long as the final answer that is working is good. All right, so let me continue this. I'm gonna do my regrouping. I'll get 48, 6, 42. I'll get 63, and I get 9 here. Alright, so I'll get 400. Oh, I need to write 1 unit equals to 3,283 divided by 7. I'll get 469. Now this question is broken into 2 parts. Part A, how much money does Sheldon have? So for here, part A, in order to find Sheldon, you need 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have 4 units equals to 469 multiply 4 times. So again, the working 469 times 4, you get 36. 6, 12, 18, 24. 24 plus 7, 24 plus 3, 27. 16 plus 2, 18. So you get 1,876. So your answer for part A is 1,876. So I'm going to just write here answer by the side. So I've told the class, right, you can indicate your answer like this. Okay, let's go to part B. So part B, what they want, how much more money does Sheldon have than Leonard? So the difference over here is 3 units. So what you need to do, you can actually have 3 units. You will get 469 times 3. Now there's another way of doing it, whereby you can use 1,876 minus 469, but it actually means the same thing. When you minus away 469, you're actually minusing off 1 unit. So what I'm doing is multiply. So I'm going to put here 469 times 3, 7, 6, 12, 18, 20, 4, 8, 12, 14, 1407. So your answer for part B, you can actually write here as answer. Oops. my pen's ink is running out. That's why it's a bit laggy now. So again, dollar sign 1,407. This amount indicates the difference between Sheldon and Leonard. Alright, I think this is the last of this worksheet, and this whole worksheet is about repeated identity, whereby you can see that they have comparisons between 3 different people, and the value is given as a total or as a difference. Alright, but by now you would have learned that the different ways, alright, to look out for the repeated item, and also to try to understand that if they are not of the same units, you need to be able to multiply to make the units to be the same. Alright, so till next time, bye.